Hey, hello everyone, it's Don Baine, the Gadget Professor. We have a phenomenal show tonight, a lot of information that you're going to want to hear about, and today we are going to do the show on the TRENDnet Home Smart Switch. Stay tuned.
He's got the toys. He's got showmanship. And he's got sex appeal. Ladies and gentlemen, from the great Southwest, here's the guru of gadgets, the dapper and dashing Don Baine, the Gadget Professor. Gadget Professor.
Hello everyone, my name is Don Baine and I am the Gadget Professor. We're on show number 221, that's 221, and I would like to welcome everyone. It's Thursday evening, September 10th. And we have a lot in store for you tonight, a lot of tech news, a lot of commentary, and a super gadget. We'll get to that in a minute. It's the TRENDnet Home Smart Switch. This is a cool device, and we'll talk about that shortly. So if you're new to the Gadget Professor, I'd like to welcome everyone. We are now heard in 172 countries around the world, and I have you to thank for that. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. We come up every Thursday night with a brand new show. It's easy to tune into the show. Just go to thegadgetprofessor.com. If you go to our webpage, you'll see a beautiful pictorial of what we talked about that week. And actually, if you scroll down, you'll see all the other prior Gadget Professors, 221 of them, to be honest with you. Plus, we have our special broadcast from the Consumer Electronics Show and from NAB. And speaking about the Consumer Electronics Show, we will be back again this year. I think it's January 6th through January 9th in Vegas. And the Gadget Professor will be broadcasting live from the Consumer Electronics Show, and a lot more to tell you about as that becomes closer. If you go to our webpage and you scroll about halfway down on the right-hand side, you'll see this newsletter icon. Just click that, put your email address in. Every Thursday evening you will get the show notes as soon as the show is published. And basically what that is a synopsis of everything that we talked about on the show. Everything is hot linked so you don't have to take notes. And also if you subscribe to the free newsletter, I call it the show notes, you will receive information on how to track us on Twitter, which is actually very simple. It's at Gadget Professor. At Gadget Professor. If you get the show notes, you'll also know that you can email me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com, thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com, and we would be happy to hear from you. Any comments, suggestions, or questions, just email me and I'll definitely try to answer them to the best of my ability. All right, so let's get right into it today. As I said, we have a lot of news. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the Pentagon. And believe it or not, the Pentagon was hacked again, actually yesterday. And boy, I'll tell you, of all the places to be hacked, it just kind of makes you like shake your head and wonder. It's pretty scary. What was hacked? Actually, the cafeteria was hacked. The employees' personal cafeteria where everybody eats. Computers in at least one of the Pentagon's food courts had been compromised by hackers of an unknown amount of employees. Personal information was stolen. I won't read the whole article. It will be in the show notes, but this is not the first or second time the Pentagon has been hacked, and you just wonder what is going to have to happen before they start addressing this. I just don't know. I'll have a prediction in a minute. Rolling right along with hacking news, a major health insurer in New York says their computer system was hacked. A health insurer in Western New York, an affiliate said that Wednesday that their computers were targeted last month in a cyber attack that may have provided unauthorized access to the information of more than, you ready, 10 million people. 10 million people. Exelis, Blue Cross Blue Shield, headquartered in Rochester, lifetime healthcare companies said that they are offering affected individuals, that's 10 million individuals, in upstate New York, 2 years of free identity theft program. That's not going to hack it for me, no pun intended, but this is out of control now. I said I was going to make a prediction, and here's the prediction, and I'm going to go way out on this one. What I think is going to happen is this is going to get so bad that you're going to start to see people organizations not using the cloud. I know, and not using the internet for storage. I know people are going to go crazy, but I think this is so serious and so out of control that they can't prevent it. The hackers know more and are better at hacking than the people are at securing. And I think at some point in time, and I don't know when that is, they're never going to catch up to the hackers. And the bottom line is that they're not going to be able to use the, quote, public internet. There was a private internet many, many years ago, and I'm sure there are other private nets, but not like, quote, the internet. And there's different sections of the internet too, but it's a pretty scary thing, and I just don't see anybody in the United States who is able, anywhere actually, not only the United States, who is able to stay ahead of this. It's very concerning. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about the big announcement yesterday, and everybody was waiting for this for a long, long time. It was the Apple's turn to announce all their new products, the Apple TV, the iPhone 6S, I guess it's going to be called, the new iPad, and a lot of pomp and circumstance and excitement has been built up about the announcement. And I listened to it, and I watched some of it, and as it was being revealed, certainly I was very excited about the Apple TV, and I would be one of the first guys that would plunk down my $100 to buy one because I like Apple TV. My favorite, of course, is Roku, and is still going to be Roku. But the bottom line is this: it was a lot of hoopla about a lot of nothing. There wasn't one service, one feature that I went, wow, this is revolutionary. This is phenomenal. This is like the Apple of old days. Quite frankly, the whole thing was very boring and uninteresting to me. And with regards to the Apple TV, let's take a quick peek and see what they actually revealed. First of all, it's $149. It went up $49. So for the $49, what are we getting? Well, you're going to get a new remodeled remote control. That's a new way of controlling it, voice and touch. The remote has been redesigned with this in mind. Well, that's been around. I mean, that's not a new thing. Voice controlled, a TV appliance. That's not new. So maybe it's new for them, but that's no big deal. That didn't do anything for me. There's a glass touch surface across the top, and you can easily glide across a set of movies and then stop when you get to the one that you want. Okay, big deal. Again, it's not a game changer for me. The remote uses Bluetooth also. Okay, there it is. It looks gorgeous. There's no question about it. And is it worth $49? Well, if you were buying a new one and didn't have an old one, it's $149. It will come down maybe a little bit. There might be a sale for $10 on it. But if you're buying a new one, you're going to buy that. You're not going to buy an old one. Unless they drop the price of the old one to like $50 or something, or $40 or $30 and get rid of them. But for me to change from my old Apple TV to this one, I'm not going to do it. The processor is faster. It uses Siri. I don't think Siri is that great. I have an iPhone. I mean, it's okay, but if you have an iPhone or any type of an Apple product that utilizes Siri, you know that it's not consistent. So that was no biggie. And then they went on to say the interface is based on an iOS built for the living room. It's called TiVos. There's nothing here that is dynamic. And now it's going to work on all these apps. Airbnb, and then you're going to have other apps, and you're going to be able to get more TV stations, if you will. You'll be able to subscribe to more things. It will offer you games. It's redesigned. It has screensavers. Oh, this is going to make me turn mine in right now, tomorrow, and go out and buy one. Who cares? Apple has created some high-def video to be used instead of the static screensavers. So instead of a JPEG, a picture, this video will play day or night, shots depending on the time of day where you are. That's not innovative. That's not creative. That's nothing. It went on to mention the specs. They're going to have two different sizes, a 32 and a 64 gig. And they expect September 9th launch of their live, quote, blog, which is actually yesterday. I haven't checked their blog out. But even the iPhones, there was nothing that I was impressed with that would be a game changer or want me to turn in my new iPhone and get a new one. They had a couple features, but nothing, again, that's earth-shattering. And now, as I understand it, and I have to go back and get the actual details, but they're going to charge, I think, a minimum of $32, probably up to $50 a month if you want to have a current iPhone, so that anytime a new iPhone comes out, if you're paying this $32 to $50-ish, and I'm guessing here, then you'll be able to get the new iPhone. So the stock dropped, and it will be interesting to see what happens after things, the dust clears and the smoke settles and these products actually reach the consumers and gets their feedback. All right, more than enough time spent on that. Here's some more trouble that you have to deal with. This one really is so aggravating to me. Severe, and this isn't like a minor thing, this is a severe external drive vulnerability prompts Seagate to issue an emergency patch. Are you kidding me? Wait till you hear this. And by the way, Lacey products have Seagate drives in them. Watch out, Seagate wireless external hard drive owners. I must own about 15 of those, maybe 20. Your peripheral may have serious flaws in it that will open your files to malicious attackers. Are you kidding me? The good news is that Seagate has already issued a patch for the problem. Well, that's not good news. It's essentially bad news, because if you're telling me that my 15 drives that I use for my personal cloud, which I always say are safer than a main cloud, if you will, are hackable because of malicious spyware or whatever they're going to put on it, it's mind-boggling. The vulnerability primarily affects owner of Seagate Wireless Plus mobile storage and Seagate Wireless Plus Lacey fuel drives purchased since October 2014. So if you had one of those drives for 2014 and almost the end of 2015, if you will, and we're in September, you're a sitting duck all this time. It is horrific. And what they don't tell you is how to get the patch file that fixes all this. So I'm going to tell you, if you didn't Google this, if you didn't check Seagate or follow tech news, you wouldn't know this. But in any event, here's the page. I will put it in the show notes. And this is your download finder. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to dig down and get the serial number off the back of your hard drive. You're going to put it into this software app, if you will. You're going to select your country that you're in. You're going to say, I've read the license, and you're going to submit it. It's going to check the serial number to see if it has the hack. And as I understand it, the hack allowed a backdoor for someone to use the standard username and password that are all on all Seagate drives and get in. It was almost easy. It is easy. So this really has me annoyed, but once again, it's a security issue, and I just don't think we're equipped to handle it. Anybody is. It just boggles the mind. I mean, the manufacturer of a hard drive having the security breach for 2 years, almost 2 years, probably longer. They don't tell us. All right, I get carried away here. NFL Mobile. This is a great free app if you are on Verizon. If Verizon is your carrier and it's football season coming up, all you have to do is put this NFL mobile app. It's available on the Android system and on the iOS. It's totally free, and you will get, guess what, all the NFL games, and you'll get the scores, pretty much set it up however you want to do it, and it's better than nothing if you are in a place where you can't get the football game, or if you want to sneak a peek or a score or whatever. I've used it. It's okay. It's not phenomenal, but for free, it's better than nothing, I'll tell you that. So definitely check out the NFL Mobile. All right. And last but not least, Microsoft, and you probably don't know this, but Microsoft offers a lot of free software. You just have to know it's available. I don't know why they don't scream about this, because this is a very good free piece of software. Help your kids be safer online. This is a online account that you create. It's totally free. You're going to create a username and password. And what this will do is, it's part of Windows 7, 8, and 10. It will block websites and games that you don't want your kids on. Adult websites are automatically blocked for children's accounts. In other words, your child will have to sign in with the username and password. And once he's signed in, this software works in the background and keeps track of where they were, what they were doing. It also gives you a window into their digital life in the sense that it keeps a history, a log of every place and everything they've done and how much time they've spent on each individual site, which is, you hate to spy on your kid, but again, you want to keep them safe. Also, you can set appropriate age content ratings by just pulling over a slider, which is nice. And you also can apply certain time limits, which is nice, so that once they sign in, let's say they sign in and they play a game and you only want them on the computer for a half hour. Once they sign in, when a half hour's up, their time is up and they're off the machine and they can't re-sign back in unless you use a master passcode or something to that effect. So this is really a good piece of software, totally free by Microsoft, and I think you'll like this if you need this type of application to monitor your kids, and hopefully you are monitoring your children. Now we're going to go into the gadget of the day, and it is the TRENDnet Home Smart Switch, and here it is. And you're probably asking yourself, why am I doing another wireless switch? Because about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did the Belkin Wemo switch, which, by the way, is working fine, and I'm still using it. There's a definite reason why I'm doing the show tonight on this TRENDnet Home Smart Switch. This actually is I think, a better product, and I'll tell you why. Not that I don't like the Wemo, because I do, but I hadn't seen this particular switch, and I just got a couple of these, and boy, I'll tell you, they work pretty well, and I'll show you why I like them better. The first thing we'll do for all these people that I know just love unboxing, I almost opened it up. I have 3 of these in use throughout the house right now. This is the 4th one that I'm going to wire in probably tomorrow. But I thought I'd show you what it looks like. So I'm going to unbox this now for all you people out there. And right now I'm pulling off the very sturdy shrink wrap. And here's the box. And now I will open this up for you. And it has a little box is empty. And this is what comes with the box. A TRENDnet manual, and I think 25 different languages. The actual manual itself on how to operate this is 14 pages-ish, so it's pretty simple to set up. It comes with a CD that will include the instruction manual, and of course it includes the product, which you see right here. So the packaging is very elegant, and I want to show you something. You see this little paper here that you would pull off and throw away? Don't. Don't lose this. I'll show you why. So I'm going to put this down, and now I'll pull out the switch. So here we go. This is what it looks like. It's nothing too elaborate, but it definitely differs from the Wemo switch that we covered about a month ago. Basically, you're going to plug this into the wall. It's pretty straightforward, and you're going to plug the device that you want to automatically control, whatever it may be, into the front part of this, and that's self-explanatory, I hope. What this does have is a couple buttons where the Wemos don't have the buttons that this does. This has an on and off switch located right here. So when it's off, it's off. When it's on, it's on. And you would want it on, because if it's off, it's not going to work. The other thing that it has that is totally unique to this device is right here. It has your WPS button, and what this is for is this will sync your Wi-Fi. If you have a WPS button on your router, which I happen to have, and most people do today, what you do is you push your router button, and you push this button, and it will find each other, and you're basically set up and ready to roll. It's almost that simple. I said almost, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now, why I like this device better, and there's a couple reasons, but one, it's a quick app setup. You know what? They're all quick apps, so what's the big deal? You can turn this device on and off from any mobile connection, any internet connection that you have with your smartphone, wherever you are in the world, or your iPad or your Droid, whatever. You'll be able to turn whatever's plugged into this on and off, which is very convenient and very nice. Where this differs from most switches is this has built into it a powerful N300 wireless repeater that extends your existing wireless network. So this actually has two functions. It will remotely control from your smartphone on and off. It also has a built-in timer, so if you want the lights to go on at sundown to sunset or whatever the case may be. Wait a minute, sundown to sunset. That doesn't make sense. Sundown to sunrise. That makes sense. It will do that. If you want it to be on from 9 to 12, it will do that. So that functionality is everywhere with these wireless switches. What isn't everywhere is the ability for this to act as a relay. Now, you can buy one of these relay systems that just does that. It basically amplifies or extends your wireless range. This does this automatically for you. There is no way to turn that off. So when you're using this device, it's going to have two functions. One, to turn your lights on and off, either by the app or by setting a schedule with the app to turn it on between certain hours. Secondarily, this will have your wireless extender built into it so that wherever you put this, it's going to further extend, and it does a nice job, by the way, of extending your Wi-Fi. So it really does have two great uses. So there is a video on how to hook it up. There's a million different looks. I'm on their website, and it's pretty straightforward. Now, let's get back to this little piece. I will say this. These can be a bear to hook up. The instructions are not as clearly written as one would like. I was able to hook these up fairly quick because I'm technical for one, and I'm used to the floodwaters that people will run into with these types of devices. It's not that they don't work. It's that the directions, the instructions to hook them up are not really clear. So a couple things. You're hooking up two different functionalities here. One of the functionalities is you're actually hooking this up into the into your internet connection, your wireless internet connection, so that you could interface with this through your smartphone or your iPad or any pad. That makes sense. That's function one. Function two, you need to assign this to the same Wi-Fi network that you're on in order for this A, to make the connection, and B, to act as the extender. So that can get a little confusing, and as I said, the instructions aren't really clear. The good news is that once you understand how to hook it up, it's fairly straightforward, and the savior, believe it or not, is this. I don't think you could see it, but right here, you will see, I think you will see, a code, a QR code. So what you essentially do is this code is married to this, and what I do is this is a sticky on the back. I actually peel this off and I put it right here on the side, and then when I'm hooking it up, I just take my smartphone, scan it in, and bang, it makes the connection for me. So if you're having problems hooking this up, it's probably because you lost this QR code. So don't lose that. The second you open this up, put it right here, and that will solve 99% of your problems. Also, written on this, this will always show up as THA-101. So if you go on your wireless network, you're going to see this appear not as a TRENDnet or anything like that. You will see it appear as THA-101, and you'll know that this is the device that's extending your network. Yes, you can go in and change that to the same name that your wireless is on, obviously. But before you do that, you need to make the connection. Secondarily, they have the Wi-Fi password on there that is a default password for all these switches. It's the same. You can change that too, but keep this code handy because you're going to need it. Now, I hooked the first one up on a Saturday, and I ran into all kinds of problems, and just because I was going to do a review on it, I called their 800 number. The good news is that TRENDnet has 24-hour-a-day tech support, and I called them Saturday. It was probably, 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. I know I have no life. But they answered the phone immediately, and the good news is they took my name, my number, and they gave me 100% of their attention. The kind of bad news is the person on the phone, maybe it was because it was a Saturday night, really didn't have a clue at all. They go to a tech manual, and you're familiar with the routine. They read page by page through the manual, and if this doesn't work, then they go to this page. If that works, then they'll go to that page. So that got to be old pretty quick, and they were very nice, very polite. And again, it's just one call. There could have been a million people. It could have hit someone who was half asleep or whatever. But they did have good technical service. I could have called back and on a weekday and probably got someone who was more familiar with this. So I do give them credit, and they were able to give me a reasonable answer on how to hook this up. But the truth of the matter is, I misplaced this. I didn't even know it was in the package. When I ripped it open, it had actually fallen. It was on the floor. I found it a little while later, and I go, what's this? And then I realized, wow, why they don't put this, because these two are married, why they don't impregnate that here, I don't know. There is a QR code here. I don't know if it's the same that matches up with this for the connection, wireless connection, or if it's the serial number type of QR code on the back of this. I just don't know. The other thing that makes no sense is why would they put it on the back here? Because when you plug this into the wall, you can't scan it, which is why I stick this on the side like that, and that takes care of that. So they do work flawlessly once they're set up. I have 3, as I said, set up throughout this home, and I have not had one problem. I've turned the lights on and off from all over the place, and it worked every single time. Also, I like the boost that I get because the house is spread out and I get a wonderful signal everywhere, and these really do a great job of being a wireless extender. So all in all, I think they're great. If I had my choice between the Belkin and the TRENDnet, I would go with the TRENDnet because of the reasons I've just stated. Now, here's the interesting thing, and we'll wrap this up for you, is that if you Google this TRENDnet THA101 switch, everybody sells it. So if you go to Amazon, and I'm just picking on them because that's what I Googled first, this is on Prime, and it's $49 on Prime, which is a very reasonable price for what this does. The rating that this gets is actually 10 customer reviews, and it's 3.5 stars. If you look at, again, that was $49, say $50. If you look at Newegg, it gives it 2 stars, and you're going like, how can that be? If it was 2 stars, I'd have second thoughts about using it. But knowing what I know, that it can be complicated to hook up, of course, you would give it a low rating. So I think hopefully I've solved that issue for you. But if you look at Newegg, there's only 2 reviews. So, 2 reviews and it got 2 stars, and I read them. They can't spell and they can't write. So the reviews were actually bogus as far as I was concerned. This is a great device. It is a little tricky to hook up. Don't lose this paper. That will help you a lot. If you need help, they're there to help you. And I'm sure that any of the Gadget Professor fans out there who listen to the show and want a great remote switch with the added advantage of having an extender will find this a great switch. And every now and then Fry Electronics runs a sale on these for $30, and that's just a great buy for this, and they're very, very handy. So that will wrap it up today for the Gadget Professor. I hope you enjoyed the show. I definitely enjoyed bringing it to you, and I will see everyone next Thursday evening. So long from the Gadget Professor.
The Gadget Professor is produced by Don Baine, Multimedia Communications, LLC. If you would like your product reviewed on The Gadget Professor or would like to appear on The Gadget Professor, contact us via email at thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com. The opinions expressed on the program by the host, guests, call-in listeners, or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. And thank you for watching The Gadget Professor.